Happy Friday! It's Friday as of filming this. Friday, 17 February 2023 in the city of Shoreline, Washington State, United States of America, planet Earth, the original. And what have I got for you today? So I have written and published on Wikipedia, focusing on page curation and keeping information up to date. So I didn't contribute text for swim and or swims. Swim with like in parentheses S at the championships I'm writing about for swimming. So I went back and I worked on formatting on one of the pages, and then I updated a couple of other new articles I created and updated my page curation list because I've updated pages that weren't on the list, so putting those on my page curation list, which is on my user page, which is a way of me kind of tracking what I've updated this month and worked on this month, be it a new article I created or contributing to a new article somebody else created. And it's actually kind of been enlightening how a lot of my swimmers are coming out really fast. Like the new articles I created are coming out really fast this year. Like they're swimming personal best times in January and February and stuff, and like some of them multiple personal best times and some of them are like very close to their personal best times. So I'm like looking at the number of pages I've updated, and it's an interesting thing because I've made a number of new articles for swimmers in the past couple years, and I was wondering how different this year would be for me, because I was like, well, in the past I had like 5 swimmers pages, and so I didn't, and then I was like, I should probably make some more because I do want to contribute to the pages I have, but if I only have 5 swimmers, none of them might make a team, right? Or they might make a team in like one event, and then I only have one person to contribute to if I only wanted to contribute, like write on those articles. So I did a big push kind of through January this year of getting a bunch of articles for swimmers that, or competitions or divers or artistic swimmers or whatever, not whatever, YouTubers, that kind of like diversifying my pages so I have stuff that I can contribute to that's my own, because I know I want to contribute to my articles, and I can imagine that people feel, I don't know if everybody feels that way about the new articles they create, but like I also don't want to impose on new articles other people created kind of thing. But I do want to contribute at large, so if there's not text there, adding stuff or filling stuff in. But not overstepping bounds, trying to moderate how much of that I do by making new articles and contributing to those new articles I create. So that's some Wikipedia specific methodology there. And so this year, I guess, so that's the first update. And I have more writing and publishing to do because the final session has not happened yet for these championships today. And then, so I guess the second update is, I kind of covered how my approach to this time of year or these championships has changed relative to last year. I guess expanding on that a little bit today is how has my approach changed for this year, 2023, relative to last year. And last year I was really focused on finding people, competitions, venues to make new articles for, like diversification in finding things I wanted to have that new article for. And I still have, and I came up with a bunch of articles. Some of them got made before I got to make them, so I didn't get them. And I have a list, and I have pages set up for swimmers who I would have made an article for had they competed at a certain competition, kind of, if they had achieved a certain level in their career. And a bunch of those didn't actually show up. Or didn't not show up. It's not their fault. Alright, they weren't on the national team for that competition or whatever. So I still have a bunch of those. So the new articles I could create this year, and thinking through a super strict selection criteria, I'm like, well, I could work on those. Right? I can write the article off of Wikipedia, and if somebody beats me to it, so be it. But if they don't, and they compete at such and such level of competition, then I already have an article. That it sounds crazy because what I typically do is like write the article and then publish it right away. So it's the one article I have written that way, where I wrote the article and waited to see, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just going for it. But the article was already all written, and then I was waiting with the article already all written, was Tegan Odell, an American swimmer. So I know I can do it. It's a very, very different type of page creation than I normally do. Currently, I only have one article like that. It's Tegan Odell, for Tegan Odell, who's an American swimmer. So that is, I guess, if there's a super strict selection criteria, kind of modeling it after how I wrote that article. There's one swimmer I really want, and she was born in 2008, and I have two swimmer pages that were born in 2008, and I want to, if I get the page in 2008, so far as I can recall, is I want to flesh out kind of approaches to how to make, that's very young, right? And I got one swimmer page when she was 13, so like I'm taking a, what I would call a safeties in numbers approach to some of these really young ones, but also being like, I should diversify how I make these pages, make sure they have the press coverage, but also the notability criteria each are different, but they're notable, but part of their notability is they're being very successful very young, because like Olympic champions, you know, it's young if they're 15 and they win a gold medal, and these people are out there winning medals, you know, 13 or 14. So it might not be an Olympic Games medal, but Olympic Games don't matter that much in everybody's career. Some people can set 10 world records and not a single one at an Olympic Games, right? So it depends a little bit on the person more than like sporting in general. Especially in a sport like swimming, where there's short course meters, which is in short course yards, which aren't even contested at the Olympic Games, like in a pool. So like world records, the Olympic Games are nice, but it's a very small, what's actually competed there is a very small facet, less than a third of what the sport it actually is. They don't even offer 50s, right? Like except for a freestyle. So yeah, so the approach there, more strict on page creation, and perhaps modeling an approach a little bit after the Tegan Odell article I created. And then for writing, focusing on the new articles I created and putting those as a priority, of keeping up to date with those, and then not losing my contributing to other articles. It might mean, like, if all of my swimmers went to one world championships, that might mean super strict selection on the articles I contribute to that I did not create, right? Like there might be like 2 or 3. It might be like Kyle Chalmers, Nicolo Martinenghi, and Thomas Deschamps, and that's it, right? So it could be a very weird year compared to my writing and publishing previously, which for like the Olympic Games in 2021 in Tokyo, Japan, Summer Olympic Games, I only had one swimmer that was mine, right? Lydia Jacobi, whose article I created, and then the rest that I contributed to were like everybody else. So it was one out of like, it was like 30 or 40 pages that I contributed to. So me contributing a lot to new articles I created is very like, the pendulum swings both way. And so this is the first year where it has kind of the chance to swing that way. So that's kind of the second update. Third update is an update on logistics for potential upcoming fieldwork. I am thinking of paying cash. Why? There's a $2.60 service charge if I pay online for tickets to the Pac-12 Swimming and Diving Championships. So I want to see if I can pay cash at the door. Potentially save myself $2.60. Also, I don't know if programs are available. Those can be super expensive. They're like $6 to like $32 depending on the competition. So just breathing. But I'm going to take the approach, at least for this first one, so in a week on the 24th, going and paying cash. And then for the ticket, if I can. And I will keep you guys updated on that. And then up last, day 12 of 14, pandemic weight regulation plan on the tennis site with PMS modifications. Going well, partway through exercise and on track for food. So happy Friday.